So it's Occupy Democracy on Parliament Square.
May the 1st.
May the 1st, May Day,
Exactly.
Workers' Day, International Workers' Day, and obviously a great pagan festival. And I'm here with Uber activist Jamie Kelsey-Fry.
Uber rocker.
Uber rocker. That sounds like something you have for a hangover, doesn't it? So Jamie, can you tell me about Occupy Democracy at Parliament Square?
Create a process to address the problems we face
and generate solutions.
Accessible to everyone.
They're planned to do 10 days from May the 1st, so right through May 10th. The idea is to be here in Parliament Square every day. And in essence, in a nutshell, Occupy Democracy clearly is the place where you come to discuss the fact that there has been a corporate capture of democracy. So in no sense whatsoever is there any representation of the people in the building behind me. There's only representation of the corporations and the bankers and the financial institutions and their huge army of lobbyists. They take precedence over the decisions that are being made there. And I would also add, none of the decisions that are being made there are actually addressing what our future generations are going to be facing, which is catastrophic climate change, perpetual wars for the last resources, dying seas. There's very serious things that the species needs to be getting to grips with that's completely out of the reach of the people in that building, but completely in the reach of the people in this square. And this is where that movement works towards building a better future for all, by starting with that one thing.
And form groups in the spirit of direct democracy.
This is a very small team, Occupy Democracy. I would urge people who are watching this to come down and support the group. They meet on a regular basis and they need more and more people to come and make it a larger movement. But with that small team, they managed to have a choir has just performed here. That's a pretty good start. The Church has stopped shopping, the Earth Alleluia choir that usually has Reverend Billy Talon at the front of it. So they've just given us a dynamite performance here. And they're all about, as you can see, stop shopping, but they're also about the corporate capture of reality.
We offer support, documentation, and all of the resources at our disposal.
I come from the United States, where everybody is taught that democracy, comes from the founding fathers who created the Declaration of Independence, Constitution. And, the amazing thing is if you actually look at the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, it doesn't say anything about America being a democracy. No one ever talks about this. And if you look at it, and you figure out why, you read the original documents, you realize that actually those guys hated democracy. They said so all the time. I actually saw the opening speech of the Constitutional Convention, where the people gathered together to create the American Constitution. And the first speech is by Governor of Virginia. He says, "We've got a real problem in this country. There's a real danger of democracy breaking out. There's democratic elements in a lot of the local constitutions. We've got to do something about this. What are we going to do to prevent democracy? We need to create a federal system, so forth and so on." So the entire constitutional project is an attempt explicitly to suppress democracy. Now, what do they mean by democracy? Well, they meant this. They meant people sitting around in squares, publicly discussing what to do and brainstorming ideas and resolving their own problems in an equal fashion. And why were they against it? They said very blatantly. I mean, John Adams, who was, I think, the third president, said, well, one man, one vote? Well, that's insane. You can't have democracy. We have like 10 million people with no property and 1 million people with property. What do you think's going to happen if you give these guys the vote? They're going to appropriate us right away. So they made very clear that there's no way you can have real democracy if you have vast inequalities of wealth without people actually undoing the inequalities of wealth. Now, what they have done over the last 200 years is figure out a way, to take these institutions which were basically created to stop democracy and convince everybody they are democracy, and B, to get people more and more involved in the system, since gradually they did expand it to one man, one vote, and still somehow not have them do the thing everybody was afraid that they were going to do in the beginning, which is expropriate the wealth. It's been one of the, millions and millions of very ingenious people have been working on how to do this for years. It's one of the greatest feats of propaganda ever done, but it's ultimately backed up by force. And the moment you really seriously challenge it, well, we all see what happens.
To the people of the world, 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 to the people of the world. Stop the forced closure of Aboriginal communities!
The whole thing about Occupy is this whole non-hierarchical thing. It's totally horizontal, which is why it's magical for that reason, in my opinion, because everyone is engaging with it. No one has the answers, but this is where we come together to find those answers.
So I'm involved in something for basic income, which would be an income for everybody, every individual. And it's very important that it be for every individual, because at the moment, the benefit system is done by household. And what that does, and it's going to get it even worse with universal credit, where only one person in the household will be paid. All right, now just think about that. All right, think about what that's going to mean for women and children. Think about what that's going to mean for people who do not have, who are not being looked after in the family, because there's a big power difference within families as well as within society. So, basic income now. Yeah.
It's very important why I'm dressed up and speaking about these things.
I was wondering about
Not
that.
just because it's May Day,
Yeah.
because I'm an elder and I want this society of Britain to re-adopt and re-acknowledge that we need our elders, and women like me are here all around, eccentric, crazy old women who are pissed off about lots and lots of things and can tell you a lot about sex and all the other things you need to know. And I'm here to affirm myself and my sisters who are out there somewhere. I want to find them. We want our elders.
Talking about sex for half an hour between 9 and 9:30.
We'll have an orgasm together.
Happy days!
Occupy! Shut it down! London is a people's town!
It's not hierarchical at all, and it's where new ideologies are developed rather than people clinging on to old ideologies. It's not left, it's not right. We're not supporting any particular party. We're interested in certain policies, but this is system change, not regime change. And it's a great place for that. The democratic part of Occupy is fascinating. Participatory democracy. Everything is made by consensus. All decisions. Everyone's involved in it. No leaders. If people actually stop to think what that's actually like, it's extraordinary. I'll give you an interesting tip on it, though. When people say this is what democracy looks like, actually, real democracy, it's really messy, really dirty, it's really angry and frustrated and vulnerable and fragile and beautiful. It's all of those things, real democracy. This is when all types of people from all types of background engage in making decisions. That's real democracy. And it's messy, it's not squeaky clean, but it's beautiful, without a doubt. And I recommend people start seeing this place. It's not something you engage with once every 5 years, but every day of your life to be political. Your whole life can be direct action, and that's what is the bug of Occupy. And Occupy Democracy has that in spades, dude.
We've got tomorrow, we're reclaiming the commons. We're encouraging people to come down with plants. We did this, this was done about 15 years or 12 or so years ago, but we're going to do it again. So bring plants, bring flowers. We want to make it as happy as we can here.
What's funny about that, Matt, you say about the guerrilla gardening that happened, I think it was 1999 or 2000, is that the following summer, a fantastic marijuana crop was found underneath the statue of Winston Churchill.
Nice.
Yeah, and they reckon the MPs had been on it for a while before anyone alerted them to it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That is real commoning.
Occupy! Shut it down! London is a people's town!
So we're trying to be as creative as we can with this space, not just sort of sitting having workshops, but kind of being as creative and it being a kind of protest, and not just a protest, but also a space to learn and to cause a fuss.
Occupy! Shut it down! London is a people's town!
So I would just say, come and get involved, because putting a cross in the box is really not enough. That's not what democracy is. This is what democracy looks like.